I am part of I'm representing, I guess, volunteers who work together to make quilts to appreciate our service members and our veterans. I have a small history of veterans in my family as well, and many students who are currently serving our country. So this is important to my heart as well, as all of the volunteers that I'm representing. Okay, a quilt of valor is a formal expression of appreciation for a grateful nation. In 2003, a quilter named Catherine Roberts started the movement that became Quilts of Valor when her son was deployed in Iraq. Since that time, over 140,000 Quilts of Valor have been awarded. Our mission is to honor servicemen and members and veterans who have been touched by war with comforting Quilts of Valor. So we honor you for your service. We honor you for leaving your home and your loved ones and all that you hold dear to put yourself in harm's way defending our country. So I have a few details about that I want to share with you. Give me just a moment to pull up my notes. Modern technology here. A little history about Lauren. In May 1962, Lauren moved to Lexington and worked for Wheeler Chevrolet until November 1963. It was at that time that he wanted to serve his military commitment, so he volunteered for the draft. Lauren was in his first week of basic training when President Kennedy was assassinated. He spent 9 months at Fort Leonard Wood and then was shipped to Korea, where he spent 13 months. Upon returning to the States, he was honorably discharged, at which time he went to work for Hodges Chevrolet. In his second 8 weeks in the Army, his military occupational specialist training, his MOS, was field communications. This is where he learned to climb poles. It was that training that led to a career change in 1967. Lauren embarked on a career with the Dawson Public Power, earning journey lineman status in the early 1970s, a career that lasted 37 years, retiring in 2003. Lauren has many hobbies, including hunting, fishing, which he's mentioned would have been a nice day for today, golf, basketball, flying airplanes, woodworking, and classic Oldsmobile and Pontiacs, which I believe is what drew him here today for a picture. You're gonna have to make sure you check that out. He enjoys cruising Johnson's Lake and listening to 50s rock and roll music. Lauren's a member of the First Presbyterian Church, where he has served as an elder and deacon. His wife Dorothy, daughters Lori, Brenda, and Julie, and granddaughters Tekla, Ellie, and Lily are of utmost importance in his life. Let's continue. We know that freedom isn't free. We have freedom because of you and the dedication of men and women like you. This quilt is meant to say thank you for your sacrifice. This quilt is meant to comfort you. It is a quilt from your family, your friends, and a grateful nation. It's to remind you that we are tired. So let's take a look at your quilt. The Quilt of Valor is not a blanket. It's a quilt. It consists of 3 layers held together by quilting stitches. We like to think of it this way. The top of the quilt, with its many colors and shapes and fabrics, represents us as individuals and communities. The batting, the center of the quilt, is its warmth. It represents our hope that this quilt will bring warmth, comfort, peace, and healing to the individual who receives it. The backing is the strength that supports the outer layers. It represents the strength of the recipient, the support of his or her family, our communities, and a nation. Each stitch that holds the layers together represents love, gratitude, and sometimes tears of the makers. Each quilt has a Quilt of Valor label that will tell you a little about the story of the quilt. As of today, the story of this quilt becomes your story. While all labels are not identical, each one has the veteran's name clearly stated on it and designates the quilt as a quilt of valor. I believe it's pinned on the back. Do one of you girls see it? Can we turn and just show that real quick? Okay, it's down here on the bottom corner, but you can pin it and put it wherever you want. Okay, let's flip it back around. I'll tell you the story of the label. Let's look at what's on the label. Okay, first of all, what's not on the label that you need to be aware of is that you were nominated by Brenda Velosic. You know her?
I think so.
Okay, that's not on the label, but I think that's important that you know that. Together to create this for you. It's titled Eagle Panel at Sunset. It's gorgeous.
It's a beautiful bird.
Yes. That is the story of the quilt up to today. Now it becomes part of your story. The quilt is meant to be used, so please don't stash it in the closet or keep it on a shelf.
Ramage my closet. I guess, does anybody know what this means? It's Headquarters Battery, 4th Missile Battalion, 44th Artillery. That's what I was in Korea. We had the Nike Herc missiles that we, well, they're long obsolete now.
Wow. I also have a little token of appreciation, just a short version of the presentation that I gave to you today so that you can keep that as a memento.
I just was always in the right place at the wrong time or whatever. I was prime draft age when the Cuban Missile Crisis was going on.
Right.
That was summer '62. Then in '63, Kennedy passed a bill they wouldn't draft married men. She hadn't showed up yet.
A little late to the party.
So I volunteered for the draft, and then I was in Korea in July of '65 when Vietnam escalated. It was close enough. Then I didn't think I was going to get out, but I did.
Very good. Well, we're glad you're here, and thank you so much for your service.
Well, it bothers me to watch this tunnels and tower with these wounded veterans that lost arms and limbs and legs. They're the ones that sacrificed.
Yes.
That's all I can say.
Ladies.